Chanel No. 5 and Shalimar from Guerlain are two very important and famous scents, both from the 1920s. Shalimar is from 1925 and Chanel No. 5 is from 1921. So both pretty much almost 100 years old. I've both reviewed them separately in different videos, but a lot of people seem to be interested into concerning the play between these two different perfumes. I wouldn't say that they're very similar. Now, I did another video concerning comparing Emeraude by Coty and Shalimar, which are two very similar fragrances. Some say that Shalimar was actually inspired from Emeraude, which was the first oriental perfume. But what about Chanel No. 5 and Shalimar? I would say that they're pretty different, but there are some similarities. So, I have my sample of Chanel No. 5 right here. And I also have the sample of Shalimar right here. And let's see, I'll spray Shalimar on this wrist. And I'll put Chanel No. 5 on the other wrist. So, I don't really understand people that say that these perfumes are similar, because they're not really. They're completely different classes of perfumes. There are some notes that are similar, but most of everything about these two perfumes are different, but in good ways. I mean, obviously these are two high-quality, high-class luxury perfumes. One is from Chanel, one is from Guerlain. They're both French, they're both from 20s. But what makes them so different? Right away, Shalimar has those citrus notes, mainly orange, bergamot, and some lemon. But Chanel is immediately floral, even a bit sweet. Not super sweet, but a classic kind of mellow sweetness, natural floral sweetness. So the top notes of Chanel No. 5 are Lang Lang, Neroli, bergamot, lemon, so there are some citrus notes similar to Shalimar. But there are also aldehydes. Aldehydes are very unique. Chanel No. 5 was actually, I think, the first perfume to ever use aldehydes. Aldehydes are basically chemical compounds derived from alcohol, and some of them occur in nature, but a lot of the ones used in perfumes are synthetic, and they can smell like a variety of things. Sometimes they are designed to enhance the scents that are already in the perfume, but sometimes they can also add scents of almonds or a spiciness or something floral. So there is a lightness to Chanel No. 5 that Shalimar does not have. Shalimar is a very deep and rich perfume, and you pretty much get that right off the bat. Shalimar has middle notes of iris, patchouli, vetiver, jasmine, and rose. So there are definitely some floral notes, but not the light floral notes that you would get with Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5's middle notes are similar. The three of that are they're identical: iris, jasmine, and rose. But it also has orris root and lily of the valley. And the lily of the valley, along with the top notes, kind of elevates the overall tone of Chanel No. 5. And along with that sweetness, the floral sweetness. And the base notes for Shalimar are all very, very kind of dark and rich. Vanilla, incense, leather, civet, tonka bean, musk, and sandalwood. Meanwhile, the base notes for Chanel No. 5 are similar. They have the civet, sandalwood, musk, vanilla. But there's also some moss, and some other. It's just not as deep and smoky and rich as Shalimar. Chanel No. 5, it does have a richness, but not a smoky, dark richness. It's more amber, more not so deep. And I imagine that these perfumes would smell differently. They smell differently today than how they would have smelled 100 years ago. Obviously, because the formulations change, the ingredients involved in the perfumes change. A lot of the ingredients are probably synthetic now instead of the real ingredients. But yeah, Shalimar is really strong in comparison to Chanel No. 5. It's just like pure smoke. But it is combined with lots of vanilla, actually. So it's not too overpowering, and it's not like you're at a barbecue with this column of smoke coming at you. It is a balanced smokiness, but definitely lots of incense. That incense note is very, very prominent. The Chanel No. 5 has kind of a sweetness that you can't pin down, probably from all the different floral notes. The vanilla is there, but it's not very prominent, nowhere near as prominent as the vanilla is in the Shalimar perfume. And there is the lightness from the aldehydes. Chanel No. 5 is generally quite light. This is, at the same time, it's versatile, so you could definitely wear this throughout the day as well as in the evening. But Shalimar is so rich and dark that you could wear it in the day, but you might surprise some people. Mainly, I think people would identify Shalimar as more of an evening perfume, or at least a perfume for the colder months, for winter or autumn. Shalimar, I would say, is more of a slightly mature scent, mainly because it isn't light and bouncy. It isn't light at all. It's all heavy. Like, you've been not smoking cigarettes, maybe a fine cigar. You've been smoking fine cigars all day, and you kind of smell like that. Chanel it's perpetually been designed for youthful people. Yes, it's 100 years old. Some people say, oh, it is an old lady perfume, but it is designed, constantly marketed towards lots of young, not very young people, but just a younger group. So I would say younger people would probably gravitate more towards Chanel No. 5, mainly because it doesn't have that very the boldness of Shalimar. Unless you want a more daring and bold scent, then Shalimar would definitely be the answer. And overall, these two perfumes are from two different classes. Shalimar is an oriental scent. It was one of the first oriental scents, along with Emerald. And Chanel No. 5 is a floral scent, and one of the first to use aldehydes. So they were both very, very prominent when they first came out in the 20s. But it's hard to compare them because it's like apples and oranges. They're both good, but they're completely different. If there was anything similar between these two perfumes, there is a slight, I guess it's the richness, maybe from either the sandalwood or maybe the musk or the amber, but the only connection between them is a woodiness. But other than that, like, even the sweetness, the slight sweetness of the Shalimar's vanilla note is not the same as the sweetness from the floral notes in Chanel No. 5. So, other than maybe the sandalwood connection, there's not really anything similar. So these fragrances definitely are completely different, but they're both really good. I personally am torn between these two because I like them both. And I guess it just depends kind of on your mood, what you would maybe prefer, or your general preference. You know, or if you're going out in the evening, you would probably prefer Shalimar to Chanel No. 5, or whatever, but I have kind of a preference for Shalimar, but I could go either way. They're both really, really good, and both versatile. Shalimar is bolder, yet more daring. Chanel No. 5 is more classic, a bit lighter, that kind of thing. So, overall, they're both really good, even though they are different. But, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about these two perfumes, these two giants in the perfume industry. So, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, maybe subscribe, and I usually make videos every Tuesday to Thursday, so stick around.